Hi everyone, this is Bobby from bn-games.com, and today is the last of the demo series for the PlayStation Underground. After 4 years of searching, I finally got the rarest PlayStation Underground demo disc. This is Volume 5.1. This was released when the PlayStation 2 was first released here in the States, and this is the only PlayStation 2 PlayStation Underground, the original Underground series magazine, PlayStation video magazine that they ever made. Because as far as I understand it from my own reading, shortly after this was released, the team was let go. And then after that, you see the PlayStation Jam Pack. But this is the last proper PlayStation Underground demo disc. Most of the time with these demo series videos, I usually just show you the marketing material. I don't usually do on-camera thing, but this one's very special because I've recorded so far all of the PlayStation Underground discs, and been searching for this for a long time. Paid more for this thing than I'd like to admit, but I wanted it complete for the collection, so next is just going to be me going through all the videos of this particular PlayStation magazine to try to celebrate having gotten all of them, the entire collection, because people are starting to collect these now. I just like demo reels. I like the old marketing material. I'm sure many of you do too. If you're watching this, you probably do. But this is very rare. If you know somebody who has one of these, pick it up, because I've been looking for this for a long time, and I finally got it. So without further ado, here's this PlayStation Underground Magazine, Volume 5.1, the last of the series.
Welcome to Maggie TV. All Maggie, all the time.
Hey, Maglomaniac, do you want to put aside your plans for world domination for a moment and tell the viewers about this issue?
Sorry. Hey gang, welcome to the first all-DVD issue of the PlayStation Underground. First off, we spent a little time with the Twisted Metal Black development team to see who's the driving force behind that dark and twisted storyline. Driving force, get it?
Yes, very amusing.
For those of you who wonder how we get a sports star's actual face into a video game, the guys at 989 Sports demonstrated some of their face-scanning techniques.
Oh, so that's how you CG hosts put on your face in the morning.
Bump. Now who's amusing? We wanted to do something cool and different for our Spyro Year of the Dragon story, so we took flight with the Insomniac development team.
Yeah, and what was obviously a moment of insanity on the part of our legal department.
And finally, I got to go to this year's Super Bowl, sort of, to check out the PlayStation events that went on before the big game. And even though we've changed our format to DVD, you'll still find all your old favorite sections, including the vault, downloads, cool moves, and more. Check it out, and I'll see you next issue.
Great, you can go back to talking to yourself now.
Talking to me? Are you talking to me?
When we asked the Insomniac team what the secret to Spyro Year of the Dragon was, they said flaming and gliding. Well, we wanted to put them to the test, and since we couldn't figure out a way to get them to breathe fire, we did the next best thing, gliding.
Do you play Spyro like how you flew today?
Oh, God, no. With Spyro, I got the controls easy. It's down. With that thing? Yeah.
The way I play Spyro is kind of the way I handle this. Every time I go up, I wind up crashing, so,
Yeah, when you're looking at it from the other side of the TV, it looks so easy, but I think I'm about to find out that it's a little bit more exciting.
As exciting as Insomniac's hang gliding adventure may have been, it doesn't compare to what Spyro's been up to.
In Year of the Dragon, Spyro has returned from Avalar, where he beat Ripto. Unfortunately, the dragons discover that the eggs have been stolen, and they've been stolen by a sorceress who happens to live on the other side of the Dragon Worlds, in an area called the Forgotten Worlds.
This time we kind of find out that, why he's alone and he's the only young dragon is that all the other dragons haven't hatched yet. So you spend, the next week of your life trying to rescue baby dragon eggs.
And then with the magic of the baby dragon egg, Spyro will be able to overthrow the queen along with his friends, the playable characters.
And this time, joining Spyro in his high-flying adventure are 6 new playable characters.
You have Bentley the Yeti, Sheila the Kangaroo, Sergeant Bird, the Flying Penguin with rocket launchers, and Agent 9, the space-age monkey. And then you also get to play Sparks, which has never been a feature before. So I like Sparks a lot, and it's kind of a throwback to retro gaming. It's top-down, it's fast-paced action.
Probably my favorite character of all the new characters would be Sergeant Bird. There's just something really fun about flying, getting up really high, and just launching a volley of rockets at a target. It's always fun blowing stuff up.
Mine is Agent 9, the Space Monkey, just because he's such a freaky character. And it is a lot of fun where you are able to go into sniper mode, and you can do that here with Agent 9. You can zoom into a character and blow him away from pretty far away.
In addition to the new characters, Spyro Year of the Dragon is also packed with new mini-games.
There's a really fun boxing mini-game where you can play Bentley the Strongman and take on the Yeti, who's making a cameo appearance from Spyro 2. You're actually in a ring, you've got a 3-round boxing match, and you can jab, you can use undercuts, you can block.
Some of my favorite mini games in the game are the submarine chases. There's just something about tailing in behind somebody and waiting for the torpedoes to lock on and then firing and watching it track in and sink your enemy, I find very enjoyable.
Completing the game is no easy task, so we asked our team for a few hints on how to solve some of the more complicated puzzles.
There are a lot of secrets in this game. Definitely look for cracked walls. There's specially marked cracked walls that if you charge, you can crash through them. If you're Sheila, you can kick through them.
One of the trickier areas is actually one of the final snowboarding challenges in the super bonus level at the very end of the game. I was having a very difficult time. No matter how hard I tried, I'd always come in last place. And finally, someone clued me in that there's a great big jump right when you start. And do all your tricks off that first jump, and that'll charge up your turbos. And then just worry about staying on the track.
The variety of gameplay in Spyro Year of the Dragon is mind-boggling, so we wondered if the team had any favorite levels.
Fireworks Factory is easily my favorite level because we've got a little Matrix scene going on in there where the camera revolves around stop-motion photography. We've got a really cool little mini-game. It's a Doom shooter where you're playing Agent 9 in first-person perspective and you can walk through these little dungeons. It's just a great, big, varied level.
I have a couple of favorite levels in the game. The one of them would be Enchanted Towers. It's one of the ones where you play as Sergeant Bird, and so you're able to get some elevation and just let loose with the rockets and just shooting down balloons and flying creatures. So I found that pushing the artistic envelope, pushing the engine, and allowing us to do something just really gorgeous.
It would definitely be hard to top Year of the Dragon, but we wanted to know if there would be a 4th Spyro game from the Insomniac team.
Spyro was originally intended as a trilogy, and it was our goal to make the final chapter the most exciting. And I think we've really done that. I'd say that hang gliding was a really appropriate way to end because, for me, it was really exciting. I think that reflects what we were trying to do with Spyro. With each Spyro, we tried to make it more exciting for the players. Certainly, hang gliding has opened my eyes to what it's like to risk life and limb and do something that I would never normally do on my own. So I think there's kind of a good parallel there.
Really, it makes me stop and think, well, what can we do in the next game that we end up going out someplace really cool and doing something fun?
Well, if you don't have anything in mind, may we suggest a game that takes place in Hawaii?
Hey gang, I'm in Tampa, Florida, and I got the cush job of covering the Super Bowl. In a few days, this stadium will be pushing maximum density with over 71,000 fans. My first stop was the NFL Experience, a huge event put on in the stadium parking lot that combined games, food, and a chance to test your gridiron skills. I stopped by the PlayStation 2 touring attraction where I hung out with New Orleans quarterback Jeff Blake. Outside the truck, people were pretty pumped up. While checking out all the games on the truck, I kept one eye open for my suspiciously absent producer. I want to make sure we hook up because I'm going to the Super Bowl. All right, this is Ebor's famed Cuban club where PlayStation has set up the game before the game, where players from opposing Super Bowl teams face off in a quick cyber version of the event on NFL Game Day 2001. This year's event had Jason Sehorn of the New York Giants battling Qadri Ismail of the Baltimore Ravens. This is the 6th year of the game before the game, and so far every team that has won here has gone on to win the Super Bowl. But no pressure.
How many quarters? Well, these are the rules. We're going to play 2 3-minute quarters. All right, Jason won the toss.
Jason won the toss.
He chooses to receive. He wants the ball. So let's go ahead and let's play game before the game.
By now, you people at home already know the outcome, but we thought we'd show you Ismail laying the smack down on Sehorn anyway.
You've been on the fake.
That's an imaginary spike, okay?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's the game. Our winner from the Baltimore Ravens, Qadri Ismail.
After that, it was off to the VIP party. If there's one thing you can count on at these events, it's unique guests, awesome food.
You gotta take that little head, you gotta squeeze that little tail like that, wiggle that little boy, take him off.
And lots of PlayStation games. If you're in Tampa and you have the day off, you could hang out on the beach playing volleyball and building sandcastles. Or, in our case, my producer and I decided to check out the Florida Gators. When you're in Florida and you're looking for gators, the aptly named Gatorland is the place to hang. Through those jaws lie some of the biggest gators you'll ever see.
Maggie, I thought you were talking about college football. We're not actually going in there.
Come on, chicken boy. I figured, how often do you get to be this close to live 12-foot alligators? And seeing my producer squirm was just an added benefit. This is Maggie, coming to you live from inside the alligator pen.
Maggie, would you please get out of there? I'm pretty sure our insurance doesn't cover this.
Oh, come on. Would you look at the size of some of these guys? Are you getting her in the shot with me?
Maggie, watch out! Oh, great. Now you've lost your hat. Would you get out of there before you lose something else?
Chill out, Keith. Besides, that was your hat. Ooh, a 989 sportsman, eh? Come back here with that hat. On Saturday, it was back to the Cuban Club for the Locker Room Challenge, where NFL players were battling it out on PlayStation 2.
Go, make a move, Tony.
They're on the board.
Fans had a chance to grab autographs from their favorite football greats. I asked a few people who they thought were going to win the big game.
The Ravens are going to kick the Giants' ass!
So wait a minute. You're telling me I don't have tickets to the Super Bowl?
Now, I never said I was getting you into the game. I said you were going to Tampa, not the Super Bowl.
This is about your hat, isn't it? I said I'd get you a new one.
PlayStation 2 has brought about incredible advances in video game technology. Along with these advances come new challenges. Game makers are finding new and different ways of tapping into the hidden powers of the PlayStation 2 graphics engine. When working on Cool Borders 2001, Sony Computer Entertainment decided to scan the faces of professional riders directly into the game. The result? The most realistic pro riders of any snowboarding game.
For the face scanning part of Cool Borders, we did about 8 professional riders. We did Barrett Christie, Todd Richards, Kevin Jones, and several others. And then we did about 13 people that were non-riders, just to have a good variety of heads for the game.
Having the pro riders face scans lends us the opportunity to have all kinds of introductory animations where you see the riders preparing for their run, adjusting their shirts, collars. It really lends itself well to the beginning and end of each run.
For those of you who are not familiar with this amazing technology, we asked the team to show us how they go about scanning someone's face.
In order to scan a head, we bring the talent in and they sit in the chair, and we have a camera that projects a beam of light right onto their face. We capture 9 or 10 different angles, and what you have to do is you take like a front angle and then they twist around in a circle, and we get every different angle because you can't actually get a whole head in one shot. The camera senses the heat. It comes back with like a heat sensing photo. It reads the depths and the light, so the nose will show up red because it sticks out further. Further back it gets cooler shades, and then there's another lens on there that actually takes the capture. I take the pieces and I cut out the usable parts and I build the whole thing and I piece it together and end up with a 3D model, a nice mesh head. Once I get it basically patched together, and then I have to go through and fill in any holes and gaps and that kind of stuff. And then we apply the texture.
The realism definitely blew us away, but we wanted to know what some of the real snowboarders thought about their character's likeness.
After each rider got his head scanned, they always want to go check it out. They're usually pretty shocked at how close it is, and some of them are pretty scared that that's what they actually look like in 3 dimensions.
That's really weird. That's wrong. You said you're going to be able to make little beings out of computers.
Their head will be spinning around on the computer, and they just can't believe it, how much it actually looks like them. And they all want to know, am I really going to look like that in the game? And they get real excited and can't wait to see it and play it themselves.
Getting the most realistic looking face is only one part of the equation. Since realism is such an important part of a game like Cool Borders 2001, they also need to get the moves right. This is where having one of the largest in-house motion capture studios in the world comes in handy.
The studio itself, I've heard that it's the second biggest in the world, and it's roughly about 60 by 40. And our hot zone is about 30 feet by 20 feet, which is one of the larger ones. We use a 15-camera Vicon system to accommodate all our motion capture needs.
Capturing moves for sports games like football and basketball is easy, but how do you go about capturing a sport that involves flips and jumping off cliffs?
The way we get all of our grabs and flips and tricks into the game, we actually set up an 18-foot trampoline in our motion capture studio.
We actually had to make a special snowboard that was actually something a bit smaller to basically attach to the actor's feet.
Then we had Todd Richards come down and bounce on the trampoline until he got enough air, then he'd throw one of the grabs out. And then after we get all that data, we remove the vertical data so that it just looks like he's grabbing, and then we can position him in the world with our physics.
Well, from what we've seen, Sony Computer Entertainment is pushing the envelope of the technology, and we can't wait to see what comes next.
Cool Borders is actually the first game that we've tried to use this technology in. It's all brand new to us here, and everybody's still learning what we can do with it. We're not only doing heads, we're going to start trying to do arms and hands and objects themselves, you know, like footballs or baseballs even, and to try to get the most realistic looking stuff out of this system. And there's other things coming in, and there's going to be facial motion capture, so we can actually mark up a face and then we can capture that person talking, and then you'll get their real facial expressions and their real phrases, and there's a lot of exciting stuff going on, and we're still learning here what exactly we can do with all of it.
Yeah, I know all the other riders in the game, and they're people I ride with all the time, so it'll be fun to challenge me against Todd or Tara and see what happens, because I think we can all do a lot more in the video game than we can in real life.
Fans of Twisted Metal know that the series set the standard for car combat games. Recently, Sony Computer Entertainment convinced the creator of the series, Dave Jaffe, to design a new, darker, more intense version of the game for the PlayStation 2. The result? Twisted Metal Black.
The series began as a design idea that me and another designer, Mike Yam, had back in '93 or '94. And from there, I jumped on the project with a developer who at the time was called Single Track in Utah. And I was the lead designer and director of that title and the sequel, Twisted Metal 2. After Twisted Metal 2, another entirely different group began working on Twisted 3 and Twisted 4. And their take on the game was different than ours.
Most people felt that the third and fourth installments of Twisted Metal did not live up to its predecessors. From what we've seen so far, what's going to separate Twisted Metal Black from the rest of the pack is its storyline. Think Silence of the Lambs meets Seven. The characters are not only more developed, but decidedly more twisted than ever before.
Twisted Metal Black basically takes place in an asylum called Blackfield Asylum. And in that location, you've got 14 characters that are there for various reasons. Some are there because they've murdered other characters, some are there because they're simply psychotic, and others are there for entirely mysterious reasons that you don't really know until you play that character and sort of discover their backstory and their history. Calypso, who's this sort of character we based on Hannibal Lecter from The Silence of the Lambs, basically breaks them out looking for contestants for the Twisted Metal contest from the asylum. And he offers them pretty much anything they want if they'll play his contest, and the winner basically gets anything that their sort of heart and soul desires, which sort of in the tradition of Twisted Metal doesn't really turn out always to be exactly what they thought it was going to be. But besides the storyline, what we really wanted to do was focus on the deathmatch. So to that end, in the one-player game, we have our basic story tournament mode where you pick a character and sort of go through the world with that character. Then we've got endurance mode where we basically drop you into a level and there's no health, and we basically bring one car after another, after another, after another, and we try to figure out how many that you can get through before you basically get killed. And then in the multiplayer mode, we have traditional deathmatch, we have 2 to 4 player deathmatch, then we also have co-op mode where 2 players can go through the story mode together. But they all really are focused more on deathmatch.
Thought the Twisted Metal games had a cool look and feel? You've not seen anything yet. With the technology of PlayStation 2 at their demented disposal, the team was able to create whatever its collective imagination desired.
As we started to look at some of the specs on the PlayStation 2, we began to realize that we could actually create a game that fulfilled all of the fantasies we had had back in '93 when we first came up with the idea of a Twisted Metal game. We've got clouds rushing overhead that creates this kind of eerie feel. We've got trash and dead leaves blowing through the streets, firefights on crowded freeways with moving traffic, real-time weather and night and day changing, actually being able to see your characters in their cars, and in some instances have them sort of exit the car and do certain kinds of attacks.
We have a lot of memory, a lot of processing, so you'll see a lot more interactivity, a lot more destructibility. I think in one of our levels we're up to, I don't know, close to 1,000 different things you can destroy.
Not only are there more things to destroy, but there are a lot more ways to destroy them. In Twisted Metal Black, you will come face to face with a lethal array of new weaponry.
In Twisted Black, we've made a real effort to build a significantly deeper weapons system and weapons structure.
You can use them, of course, as fire and forget, and they'll have a lot of next generation capabilities. But for the skilled player, there's multiple ways that you can use some of the specials.
Like the satellite attack. As you launch the weapon, these missiles shoot up out of your sunroof into the sky, and they start coming down towards the ground. And if you can get the enemy in the reticle when the missiles fall sort of on their own accord, you do significantly more damage, but it's significantly more challenging to do than if you basically launch them and bring them down immediately.
Discover the dark, sinister world of Twisted Metal Black and come out screaming for more.
The windows are shaking, pictures are falling off the wall. And it just sounds like the battle is going on in your living room. It's just unbelievable. We're excited to release this to the universe.
Hi, my name is Eddie Cram. I'm here to show you a cool move today for NCAA Game Breaker 2001 on the PlayStation 2. What I'm going to show you today is total control passing to help you with your passing game on offense. What you do is, when I get to the line of scrimmage, I'm going to hit the L2 button to bring up the total control passing icon. What this is going to do, it's going to allow me to lead the receiver any direction I press on the D-pad, just like that. And that is how you perform total control passing on NCAA Game Breaker 2001 on the PlayStation 2.
Midway Games.
refused the sacrifice.